Hi everyone, I'm Mike Todd and welcome to Toddy Tackles. This week we're tackling marquetry using a technique called the window method. Here are some of the marquetry projects I've done. This was a chess set, box and a board that I made for my daughter's 21st. You don't need many tools for marquetry: a craft knife, some masking tape, beeswax and a pencil, some veneer and either glue or veneer tape. Choose a knife handle that's comfortable to hold. I like Swan Norton, but X-Acto or any of the other craft knives will do just fine. So we start off with our background veneer, which in this case is a piece of blue dyed maple. And then we take our pattern, which I've printed off just a simple leaf for demonstration. And the first thing we have to do is transfer the image onto the background veneer. You can use tracing paper, you can use carbon paper, but I find just an easy way is to get a 6B pencil. And on the back of it, just as you can see, just shade it in. And then stick the pattern into the position you want it to. Bit of low tack masking tape just to hold the pattern in place. So then with a harder pointed pencil, something like a HB or a 2H, you simply go around the outside of the pattern and that will transfer the image onto the background veneer. We then take our craft knife, and I always dip the tip into a block of beeswax. It just helps it run through the wood a bit smoother, lubricates the blade through the wood, stops it jamming. And the first pass, all you're going to do is just outline very lightly the pattern on the wood. So now the pattern's outlined, I'm going round it again, just following the groove, and because that first score in the wood is not that deep, it will help guide the knife through the wood and it won't run off and follow the grain as easily as if I didn't do the first cut. So this is a second cut. Some veneers cut really easily and you'll go through with the second cut all the way. Others need 3 or 4 passes. But I think in this case it's a fairly easy wood to cut. It's a sharp new blade, so we may well end up going through with just 2 cuts. Yeah. Again, you can see I'm turning the pattern and keeping the blade upright so that I get a straight, clean cut. Now I'm just finishing off any remaining fibres, and that's the pattern cut out. So what we do now is, this is going to be the colour of the leaf, and the good thing with the window method is I can move the grain around like that until I get a pattern direction that I like. You can see I'm trying to use the veneer to sort of create the veins in the leaf. Once you're happy with it, hold it in position. And without moving the veneer underneath, you can actually tape the two together if you want, but a simple pattern like this, it doesn't really matter. And then pushing the blade and bending it into the joint. So I'm actually now bending the blade towards the pattern, and that creates a really tight joint when I put the two together. Now again, I'm just marking the wood. I'm not cutting through it. I'm simply marking the pattern below so that when I cut it out, it will fit exactly. And it's by bending that blade tightly to the edge that the two will be very tight together when they're pushed into the picture. As before, we simply go over the same line again several times until we're completely through, pulling the knife towards us where possible, trying to keep the knife running with the grain to avoid it wandering off of the line, and by simply cutting through all of the fibres, the pattern will drop out. with the window method, you get a tight fit of the two pieces. Now we just use a bit of masking tape to hold the pattern in place. Now there's a number of options here. You can use veneer tape, masking tape, but I've found that if you use some standard white PVA glue, just standard working glue, a little dab on your finger and rub it into the joint, and then using the back of your knife, or if you haven't got a plastic handled knife, just a piece of hardwood, and then what you do is, as you can see, just rub the glue into the joint and just press the whole pattern flat. And what that does, that then sticks the two veneers together and keeps it nice and flat. I'm just using a piece of bone there I've got for leather work that does just the same job as the handle on the knife. You can then immediately take the tape off. Sometimes the veneer will separate, but you can just put a little bit more glue in, and as you build up the picture, more and more glue will just keep those joints tight. If they keep lifting up, then a little bit of masking tape on the back will hold it. To cut the stem in, exactly the same process. Beeswax on the blade just to lubricate it and make it run smoother. I've already marked it, so it's just a case now of cutting through the fibres to release the stem out of the blue veneer. Again, turning the pattern so I'm pulling towards me so the knife is controlled. As you can see, it is actually separating a little bit, but the glue hasn't fully dried yet. But that's okay because we can add more glue later on. Again, with the window method, I can move the veneer around to get the best grain pattern for the particular part I'm making. I'm trying to get one of the darker grain patterns into the stem, which is about there, and then it contrasts nicely with the grain direction we'd used in the main leaf body. Same process again, bending the blade into the joint to get a tight fit into the pattern. Lightly scoring just to mark the veneer below. And as before, a dab of glue on the back, which you rub in with the handle of your knife to flatten the whole pattern. Turn it over and you've completed your marquetry picture. I really hope you found this video useful. Please add any comments or subscribe below. Remember, always wear your safety glasses in the workshop and look out for future videos of Toddy Tackles.